It's the Josh Show. August 13th, Friday the 13th. It's a special edition of the KQ Morning Show. We're going on a boat cruise, but come here live on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Come join my evil plan. Welcome, everybody, to the Josh Show, special edition on Friday the 13th, August. So I'd like to say welcome to you to the Josh Show today. Me and Eunice are going to go on a boat cruise today. And we are super, super excited because I get to go do something I've been wanting to do for 30 years. I get to go meet the Kqrs Morning Show crew. I get to go on an 80s crew. I have been the biggest fan of the 80s I have ever been in my life. I grew up in the 80s, so that was my jam. So they had an 80s. It's a boat cruise. There's live music. There's drinking. There's meeting the morning crew. There's just being a normal guy trying to see that all that. See the new do? See the new do? Yeah. See. So, it's not hard for us to kind of come together and think about this thing. Now, I don't have permission to talk about the Kqrs Morning Show, so I want to say this right now. Tom, I love you with all of my heart, and I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever, but do your job. I'm doing mine. Okay, well, that was just a slight little joke on if you've ever listened to the morning show, and I should start drilling any moment here or banging on the thing, so, interruptions of my show all the time, right? They always try to stop my evil plan, so, I've got to think outside the box from time to time, the evil plan. My evil plan consists of one simple thing. I'm going to create something that will blow the world all up all at once, and I'm just going to create this ritual, and people sign up, and I'm going to do all this evil stuff, and I just want you to come here and stop me from enacting my evil plan by bringing us closer together. I actually want to save the world. I don't actually want to end it, because honestly, ending the world's kind of, I don't know what to say. It's not really one of those deals where it's kind of like, maybe if I can motivate these people and try to bring them closer together instead of bringing them closer apart. And you notice on my show, I talk a lot of positive message, but it's supposed to be my evil plan, right? So, it's exciting and new for me to try something different and new. I started this podcast out of a necessity just not to be bored every day at home, right? So I got my crew, I've got my window open, I've got my smokes. I don't have coffee today, but I already drank 2 cups, so I'm not drinking anymore. Otherwise, I'll be right? So, the exciting things that have happened to us lately is we had an unfiltered, unscheduled program show that was totally off the rails last week. If you haven't seen it, go check out Unplugged in Raw, because Unplugged in Rare, because we don't like raw. We want it to be rare, just a tiny cook, just so you don't have to swallow a deep pill, And it's exciting for me to bring these messages to you. I'm a part of a group called MNO, Music Network One, and it's a networking group that helps musicians, real estate agents, bookkeepers, people who are in the music industry or anything that could connect to that. So insurance, you got, people who do electronic music, people who do live, multi-instrumentalist people. We've got people who do insurance and insurance, not insurance, but you know what I mean. Not insurance, but insurance and, finances. So, we've got a lot of different people in this group, and we all try to do the mission I have here right now, right? Which is, I want to save the world. I honestly do. I honestly want to make you guys out there come here and go, hey, maybe this guy has something really cool to say. Oh, I forgot this today, but I wanted to show you my cool bandana, right? Got to wear the bandana, otherwise you won't know it's me, right? Because I didn't put on my evil cap today. What? Yeah, okay. See, when you get these moments in life, and this is the first time since the pandemic has started that me and my wife are actually going out of the house to an event. We haven't been able to go to an event in almost 5 years. We've had to really, really think. Now, was it expensive for us to want to go and do this thing? No, not necessarily, but we had to arrange ride. We had to get everything ready. We want to make sure we have just enough money so that we can, go enjoy ourselves. And, we are under a budget and stuff like that. There's one thing that the Kqrs Morning Show loves to talk about all the time, and it is about holding your opinions to be your own. No matter what you hear here, please go check out your own information. Go find out your own truth. Find out what's going to matter most to you, because in the end of the day, I'm just a stupid guy trying to do a show from, my home, showing you my cool haircut, saying some weird, different cool things, and just kind of going, well, we'll see what happens, right? So, but let me explain this to you, because it's supposed to be a Kqrs morning show kind of event thing. I have been listening to that show since I was a young boy, honestly. Now, have I listened to it every single year or every single episode? No, I really haven't. I wish I could say I have, but I've caught the majority of the show throughout those years. I've always been a fan of Tom Bernard's and the Kqrs Morning Show and everyone they've had on there. Even people who have come and gone, I still loved them when they were on the radio, and they're no longer a part of the crew. We got Brian Zapp, we've got Candace Wheeler, we've got, Tony Lee and Tom Bernard on the main show. And I get to go to the 80s cruise, boat show. I won't show you the whole ticket, but I'll show you my little proof here. So we're going, woo-hoo! And, they go with the flow when they're on their show. They are the inspiration for the Josh show. I mean, they really are the inspiration for that. Because in my mind, it was like, well, we need more people to do that. We need more people to get out there and try to bring us closer together, not tear us apart. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you are any political affiliation. I don't care if you're Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Wiccan. Look, I did my little fingernails today to be a little bit cool and weird. So, look, purple, blue fingernails today, right? Because I just felt like doing something cool and different for a change. I mean, did it hurt anybody today? Did I do anything to make anybody mad today? No. Do I have my problems of my own? Damn straight I do. I just fell for a scam, and it's the first scam I've actually fallen for. But someone contacted me online, and he said he was an online claimant agent. So if you ever see online claimant agent of Walter, and I don't know how to say their last name, but it's an online Walter claimant, do not answer that. Do not fall for that. Whatever you do, don't do that. Tom is always saying, these people out there are stupid sometimes, and they don't think about what's going on. And I honestly had taken the person who was hacking me or trying to get me to cash this money out, they'd sent me a check, and I deposited thinking this money was still going to be good. I waited the appropriate amount of time for the check to clear, and once the check had cleared, he did ask for some money. Now, I'm a dumbass for falling for it. I'm just going to say it, okay? I fell for it. I thought I could make a lot of money, and all I would have to do is follow their instructions. Now, I'm probably in the hole for $2,000 right now, and I don't need your help with that, guys. I made the mistake. I'm going to deal with it, okay? I don't, if you want to support my show and donate to me, great. If you don't, you don't, all right? It's not that end of the world if you didn't donate or buy something on my shop. And my shop is kind of temperamental at best. If you guys go to check out my Spotify account, not my Spotify, Shopify account, you'll see all of my merchandise there, but I didn't know that it didn't fulfill on its own, that I had to pay for the materials before it shipped out. So there might be issues with that. I might have to take that down because I just can't afford to buy the materials and then have them sent out. I just sold my first t-shirt too. I'm buying a t-shirt for me. Hopefully it'll be here around the 18th or whatever. But, it's important that we take this time to really think about what is going on in our lives, and to enjoy the moments that come, even the simplest moments, in your most darkest despair moments, in the moments where you don't think you can get through, when things seem to be crushing you down and things are not necessarily going your way, right? Hey, this person took advantage of me. that's my fault for taking the bait, but they're also doing something illegal too. And on the morning show, they're always talking about that kind of stuff. They're always talking about these dumb criminals do these dumb things with the red flashing lights on the back of their thing, and they have a pound of coke in the back of their, trunks, and they're getting stopped because they were speeding. And it's just like, you dumbass. You really didn't think that would be something to do. Hey, if I'm going to do drugs, or sell drugs, I'm not going to be not following the rules so I don't get pulled over. I'm going to be following every rule possible so that doesn't happen. So, and I love classic rock. 80s music is definitely my favorite, but, I grew up listening to the classic rock, and the 80s and 90s was kind of okay for me, but my genre was generally the 60s, 70s, and 80s, depending on what position you clarify classic rock in. It's kind of like, how I'm doing there, So it's important, guys, that you take the time out to appreciate the beautiful things that can just come up out of the blue. I mean, even if it's a $20 ticket to go do something out there right now. I know people are scared. Please, if you're scared and you need to mask up, please mask up. If you haven't gotten your vaccination yet, please mask up. If you're against masking up and you don't want to get your vaccine shot, I just want to say I love you and I hope you make it through this pandemic, but there's a bunch of other things that can kill you too. So I understand why you don't want to do that, and it's your personal opinion, and I'm okay with it. Those people who mask up and want to protect the people that they love because they are worried about this thing. There's a lot of news out there right now, a lot of other diseases coming out, and all this wonderful, crazy stuff that we keep, thinking about or doing, So, I really wish I could kind of convey that moment to you guys. Is it's really important that, we have these moments where we take the time to just appreciate what we're doing. Like I'm going to do this right now. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. And Siri's going to do that because that's how long I have left on my show. So, I just want to make sure you guys get a full episode today. So, I have a lot to talk about the KQ Morning Show. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. Okay, well, let me start from my beginning of listening, okay? I would say 1984, 1983, somewhere around there, I hopped on and I heard a new radio show I have never heard before. The Kqrs Morning Show prides itself on being one of those, we're going to say our truth and tell you what we believe, but we don't expect you to buy our BS. And you know what? Oh, the technical difficulties going in the background and the things that are going on right now are part of the show. People will come on and he's always... he doesn't ask questions before he gets to the interview. He just goes with the flow and takes every moment as if it comes. He loves his family. He loves his children. And that has always been something that kind of inspired me in my life to be a better person. I've always wanted to help people. I've always been a person who actually wants to try to save the world. Honestly, that is something I really want to do. So maybe I should change my format to I want to save the world, but possibly end it, is really me saying, hey, I just want you to come here, listen to what I got to say, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll get through this together, and we'll finally find a reason for us all to keep moving forward. There's a lot of racism out there. There are a lot of subjects out there that are taboo that people aren't all okay with. Did we lose our sense of humor? Did we lose the pride in what we are and who we are? I mean, it's constantly talked about on the morning show about how it doesn't matter what race, religion, or ethnicity you come from. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone has a voice that they want to speak, but not necessarily every voice is important, including mine. Okay? So, I don't think I'm the biggest, craziest person out there that needs to be paid attention to. I'm coming up here in about 2 months where I will have been doing this for almost a year. And it's my goal is to reach 152 episodes. That means I did 152 episodes. I went a full year. And I'm only at 42. This is episode 42, and it's the answer to KQ and everything on a boat show, right? So, I will have to give you guys a report later on how that went because I'm going to be going to that tonight, and I'm really excited for that. It's amazing how something so essential to Minnesota, and I mean, if you want to talk about radio stations that are prominent in the Twin Cities, please go listen to 92.5 Kqrs if you want a different morning show that you've never heard before. Yes, there are mistakes on it. Yes, the Tom can be a little bit overbearing and kind of crazy sometimes with his opinions, but I don't care. They're his opinions. Sometimes I agree with a lot of, most 99.9% of his opinions I agree with. But there's always that one or two, like, okay, maybe I should look that up. And I love the fact that he puts out the fact check me and make sure you call me on my bullshit too. He loves his listeners. He loves the people who come to his show every day and take their time out of their day. He's grateful that they come and be a part of his show because that's just it. I'm the Thunder Man, and I've called into the show and I've texted him to the show a couple of times. I've even talked to Tom once or twice about a couple of different subjects. Nothing I think he'll remember me for, but hey, I got to talk to him. Hopefully I get a chance to say hi and at least shake his hand. And, they say you should never meet your heroes, and he's one of the people who say that. So, I'm not going with big expectations. I'm going with, I'm going to go have fun on an Aegis cruise. And if I get to meet one or two people who are a part of that Kqrs morning show, well, then great. Beautiful. I can't wait to have that opportunity, But, being a fan of the show all of these years and listening to the opinions of let's not be racist because there isn't a good reason to do that anymore. There's just not. I don't care what color of your skin is. It doesn't matter to me anymore what people look like, sound like, what they believe in, who they love, who they don't love, what their moral compass is or whatever. That's their life. That's what I'm coming here to tell you. It is your life to live, but we can still do it in a way that supports some people. Hey, if you're a part of a hate group and you go out there and say your truth, who am I to say that that's not right for you? Even though I disagree with it and won't ever be a part of those groups, without those groups, we can't have reminders of what we should be doing instead of what we are doing. Look, fire, I need a cigarette. So, hey Siri, open timer. So I'm going to get my timer up here so I know how much time I have left here. But, so, just the customers or listeners, not customers, listeners who call in sometimes have the greatest stories. And that's the only thing I miss from the show is they started doing a listener segment and then they kind of dropped it off again. But I do miss the times where listeners would call in every once in a while and give their 411. They say call in all the time, but I've tried calling in a couple of times. So the only thing I want to say to Candace is answer your damn phones. I love you, Candace. Don't take that the wrong way. I honestly love that you're on the show as that young person who can give their opinion and a woman's opinion too. I'm glad to see Brian Zepp back, and I'm glad to see Tony Lee back. They were a part of the very beginnings of the show, and I think he's trying to return to his roots a little bit because maybe the show's not, it's going to go on for a while, but he doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Shit, there's an asteroid. It's going to hit Earth. Oh, no, nothing. Oh, I guess someone ruined my evil plan. Aliens are supposed to be attacking us any time. Well, there goes my evil plan. The Earth decides to start cracking in half all on its own. There goes my evil plan. It's amazing that we take these little moments that we have, and that's what I'm really talking about today during this, is appreciating the moment. Now, whether it works out good or bad, or whether it's going to go great or not, I'm going to be disappointed. it a different way, right? Look at this water. Did you see that? They're trying to stop my evil plan again. So if you saw me freeze just then, that's them trying to come here and stop my evil plan from blowing you all up abroad. Right? See, that's the comedy part. You know, when I'm being silly and doing something that's really not that crazy, when I'm giving you some of my honest opinions. And you know what? I voted Democrat most of my life. I've voted for one Republican my whole life. And that was when I voted for, well, actually, I voted for mostly Democrats, but I voted for independents at times. I don't think I've ever really honestly voted for a Republican. So I should retract that thing. But that doesn't matter. That's my personal opinion. I don't care. If you're a Republican and proud, thank you for believing your truth and living your truth. Because you know what? Without that opposition side, we will get funneled into one little beam of things, of thinking. We need that opposition. I don't know why people don't get the idea that opposition isn't always a bad thing. Bad things are going to happen to most of us in our lives, whether we want them to or not. Some of them are from our own choices and decisions. Some are from other people's choices and decisions. You know, and how we deal with those moments are really how we live our lives. You know, so if you have a personal compass and a religion you follow and a truth you follow, and you're living it to the best of your abilities and you're happy, who am I to tell you to stop being happy? Who am I to tell you to stop living your truth or not telling your side of the story? Maybe you convince me, or maybe you unconvince me of your opinion because I actually went and checked that out. I can honestly say that I've never been to a hate group meeting, but that doesn't mean I couldn't go check that out just to get that experience. You know, I was thinking about changing my look more dramatically than you see right here. You know, maybe going some goth jaw for a while, right? Well, you know what? I don't think I really need to change my look all that much. I just need to dress my truth, and I don't think I need anything special on my face or in my clothes. I just need to be okay with me, and if people are going to accept me for who I am, great. If I decide to go more extreme later on, great. But right now, what does it really mean to take the time? Does that mean you have to take an entire day? Hey, if you can take an entire day to give yourself a break, God bless you. I hope you go somewhere where you wanted to go or do something you've always wanted to do to fill that happiness void that you need. If you feel safer at home watching Netflix and other things on your devices, great. That's wonderful. If you're trying to find work, but because you know you don't have a heavy skill set or you're not as smart as some other people, you know, well, that's okay too. You know, everyone has a different ability and level. Everyone has a gift. Everyone has something that they can do just a tiny bit better than the other person, or a little bit more creative than the other person. Some of us have brilliant, great ideas, but we don't share them because we're so scared of the rejection. And I'm one of those people, you know, because, you know, rejection is hard. You know, I don't want to be not loved. I need love. You know, I have been one of those people, and I still have sometimes. I'm an egomaniac. What do you think? I want you to watch my tell show. Do you think I don't want you guys to be here every week? Come on. I'm an egomaniacal man with a God complex, and I'm clinically insane. Well, crazy. Technically crazy, not insane. Because they gave me my rubber stamp, and I'm not insane no more. I got some pretty good counseling when I was going through some pretty bad depressions a couple of years ago, you know. And, you know, mental health and mental illness. And I want to say this, don't defund the police. Please, don't defund the police. Retrain them, get new recruits in there, up your game with how you treat your people out there on the streets, and make sure we look at those really bad cops who are getting those hard complaints so that they're no longer hurting us anymore. So get rid of the bad apples. If they've got too many marks on the record, maybe it's time to say, hey, take your early retirement, collect what pension you can right now before we have to let you leave in a non-great way. You know, what happened to George Floyd was a criminal act done by an officer who was in charge of the law. He broke the law trying to enforce the law. And that's the ultimate mirror for the world. I mean, really, someone who is definitely in charge, doing if we ever got to that 100% right. Darn those people stopping my evil plan to save the world. Hey, that's the real thing I wrote to. My end of the world plan is to save the world, right? So, I'm just going to, keep working on being a better person, taking my cues from the Kqrs morning show from 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. So if you don't listen, go check it out, or you think this is funny, go check it out. So I'm doing a lot of KQ promotion here today without permission, so I hope they don't mind. Hey, free promotion they didn't have to pay for. I don't think they'll mind. So, but hey, if I get copyrighted on this one, that's the way it goes, guys. Because I am saying a lot about a different, radio show or something like that. But I'm a fan, and I love it, and I love how they interact with one another. I love how they interact with the news stories. I love how they interact with the mistakes and goofy shit that happens while they're on the air. I love how they bicker and talk about differences of opinions. And the thing I love most about the show is he wants someone else different opinion than his. He wants to be able to talk to those people who don't agree with him. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this here. I'm trying to get you guys to realize that, hey, if we don't do something soon, the world's going to end itself. I mean, if you can't look outside and look in the world and see what's going on, I mean, you're blind. Whether it's disease or the ozone or fires, all over the place, this all can't be happening at once for not a reason. Even if it's just the earth doing what it's supposed to do, even if it has nothing to do with God. And if it is God, knock it off. I've got 1,000 of them I can tell to stop that. Hey, all of you, stop that. Because I'm a Wiccan, I believe multiple gods. Okay. But I only worship a Lord and a Lady, and that's all I really call them. I don't subscribe to a pantheon or anything like that. I do belong to a coven, and I'm very proud of that coven. But I'm just speaking my truth, like I hear on the show all of the time. And I try to convey a message of hope, and try to convey a message of, we can do this. It's not that hard for us to do this. We just have to be willing to accept that we don't always have to be right. And sometimes it's okay to be wrong. And what happens from that? We learn. And that's the only real lesson that we can ever really learn. It's through our choices and decisions in life that lead us to the path that we are living on right now. Everybody thinks that there's a purpose and a reason for their life. Well, their purpose and reason in life is to live their purpose and their life. Well, what is your purpose in life? What do you love to do? And if they don't want the help, well, then we can kind of move forward from that and try to see that there is a moment and there is a purpose for us to be here. Just living the life you live is your purpose. You're born, you live, you die. What you do in she's sleeping. I'm going to die any day here soon. All these guys, will probably get me in the end. But that's not what's important. It's kind of like I hear on the show every day. The things that happen to us in our lives are going to be challenges. And how we meet those challenges and how we treat others and ourselves during those challenges is the ultimate test of what we believe in or what our moral compass will lead us to. If bad things are constantly happening to you, maybe you need to reevaluate what's going on in your life. If good things are constantly happening to you and you don't have any bad things, when one finally pops up into your radar, finally happens to you and brings you down to a level you never thought you could be, don't forget it. You were there once, you can get there again. All those millionaires and billionaires out there who've done what they've done to get their, themselves ready and okay with what's going on in the world, they did something to earn that. I'm sorry. They have a big company because they did what they did in order to get up to that point. The people who founded most of those companies no longer own those companies. It's other people's companies now. But hey, how do we know what's going to be happening next, the next day, the next day, the next day? Well, I really have to get a nap in here so that I can be ready for later tonight. So we'll see you guys at the boat show. And I will see you guys next week for our August 20th episode, and just tune in to my events to see that one. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to come here every week on Facebook Live so that we can, come together and be a part of the world. Thank you for joining me here at the Josh Show. Thank you for coming to the Josh Show. This has been the August 13th, 2021 episode. Kqrs rules. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out here on Facebook Live. Join me next week as we exciting conclusion as we try to save the world or possibly end it.